Hi, Sherman Elementary. My name is Joe Danneman, and I am sitting in a TV studio because I like to think I have a pretty cool job. You can see right now behind me is the big TV news desk. Yeah, I work on the news. Sorry, all the lights are turned off. They turn off the lights after the news is over, and we just finished the news, and now I'm talking to you. So I have here a little sheet with all the questions I need to ask to help you better understand what I do for my job and try to explain how it might be something you could be interested in when you're older. So the first question is, who are you? Where are you from? And what is your occupation? Okay, so I'll say it again. My name is Joe Danneman. I am from Northern Kentucky. I grew up in Edgewood. I still live in Edgewood, even though I've moved out of this area and have come back. I moved back to the same town that I grew up in, so live in Edgewood, Kentucky. My occupation is TV sports anchor. So I get to talk about sports here in the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area on Fox 19, which is the news. So anytime something big happens with the Cincinnati Reds, the Cincinnati Bengals, maybe sometimes it's UK basketball. I'm sure a lot of UK fans watching this. Xavier basketball, UC football, all the high schools around the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area. Anytime there's a big news story or a great story, those are the kind of stories that I get to cover for the news. We're on TV every single day from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock at night with all the news from that day, and then again from 10 o'clock until 11:30 at night as well. So that's what I do for a job. I'm a TV sports anchor. I get to be on TV and talk about sports here in the local area. The next question is, how did you get to where you are today? Well, that's simple. When I was your age, I had a dream. And my dream was to play sports for a living. Now, you see I'm sitting right on a stool at this point, so you can't really tell how tall I am. I'm not very tall. I'm not very strong. I'm not very fast. I don't jump very high. So the only way for me to pursue my passion of a career in sports was to then talk about sports, because I couldn't play sports at a high enough level to be a professional athlete. I wasn't smart enough to be a coach on the high level. So here I am getting to talk about sports on a daily basis, which I think is pretty cool. So I get to talk to like Joey Votto and Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon and AJ Green and John Calipari, the head coach at UK. Those are people I get to talk to, and then I get to put what they say on TV for you and your parents to listen to and be entertained by when there's a cool news story with those folks. So how I got to where I am today started with a dream, and then when it came time to pick a college, I picked a college that's really, really good at training people to be on television. So I went to Syracuse University, which is in New York. I went to high school in Northern Kentucky, left to go to college in New York, got my education up there, learned how to run a camera, learned how to put on a microphone, this little earpiece in my ear right here where I can hear all the producers telling me everything to do in my ear, learned how to be on a news desk and talk in front of a camera and try to seem natural. So all those things I learned by going to college at Syracuse University in New York, and then I started my career after that. So started with a dream, then found the college that's really good about training you to follow that dream, and then started looking for jobs, and I found one in my hometown, so that really worked out for me. Next question, what is the hardest thing about your occupation? Whew, that's a hard one to answer. There are several things that make my job difficult. One, the hours are tough. So you can see right now the lights are turned off and no one's around because it is after midnight. Yes, so I work really long hours and work really odd hours. That can be really difficult as a parent of a young child, or in my case, I have 3 young kids who are all your age. One's in the 6th grade, one's in the 4th grade, and one's in kindergarten. So trying to be around to be a dad to them can be tough because I work really odd and really long hours, so that's hard. Carrying around a lot of equipment can be difficult as well, so you have to carry around a tripod and a camera and a microphone, everything you need to make a good TV product. those are things that can be difficult after a while, especially when you've been doing it for as long as I have. So carrying around all that equipment can be tough. But I think the hardest thing is the stress that comes with my job. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I get to go to a lot of games, meet a lot of cool people, go to a lot of cool places. But every single day I have these deadlines where the TV news comes on at a certain point every day. I have to have my work done at that exact time or else I get in trouble. Okay, so let's take, for example, like 11 o'clock at night. Every single night I have to be on TV at 11:20 with all my work done and ready to talk about it on the news. And if I'm not ready, boy, I look really dumb on TV and I get in a lot of trouble. I take a lot of pride in making sure I meet the multiple deadlines I have every single day, and there are a lot in our 4 o'clock show, our 5 o'clock show, our 6 o'clock show, our 10 o'clock show, and our 11 o'clock show. So a lot of deadlines every day. Making sure you meet those deadlines can be stressful, but it can also be exciting because that really gets kind of your blood going, gets you excited to make sure you get your work done in time. But I think all those things, the hours, the carrying of equipment, and the deadlines every single day can make my job sometimes seem a little bit hard. Next question. What do you love about your occupation? Wow, that's a hard one to answer too because there are so many things that make my job a lot of fun. What I think is the coolest part of my job is no day is ever as similar or same to the day before. Every day is different. There's always something new happening, and you can never predict it because, yeah, you can have a thought in your mind of what you're going to do that day, and then all of a sudden a big news story happens, and then your day changes completely. I'll give you an example. So just on Tuesday of this last week, I was supposed to go out and cover a bunch of things that were happening throughout the tri-state. I was going out to present an Athlete of the Month for a young lady who's a great swimmer at a Cincinnati area high school. Then I was going to a college football practice to talk about one of their kickers who's a young lady trying to make it as a kicker on a college football team. And then boom, Tiger Woods, who's one of the biggest stars in the world of sports, got into a really bad accident. So I had to hustle back to the TV station and talk about that on the news throughout the day. Even though I had planned on being at this high school, I had planned on being at this college, boom, something big happens and I have to change my entire day. So that's exciting, and I love that about my job, that no day is ever the same as the day before and you can't predict what's going to happen. That's really cool about my job. Obviously, meeting new people and interesting people and famous people is really cool about my job. You name the big name athletes here in the Cincinnati area, you know, I've talked about them: Joe Burrow, A.J. Green, Joe Mixon, Joey Votto, all the huge name guys I get a chance to interact with, ask questions to, talk about them, talk to them, and getting to meet them and go to cool places is a really cool part of my job. The other one too is the travel. So I've been all over the world because of my job. I've been from San Francisco to Los Angeles to Miami to New York to London to cover the Bengals. Yeah, London, England. I've gotten to go to Super Bowls, World Series, NCAA Tournament Final Fours, college football national championships. So the events, the places, the people, and also the changing landscape every day of not knowing what's going to happen really makes my job exciting. And exciting is fun. That's what I love about what I do. So the last thing I'm asked to talk about here is to give a motivational statement to kids about working hard and following dreams. It's not hard for me to make that kind of motivational speech because that's exactly why I'm here. I'm here because I had a dream of wanting to work in sports, and I've worked hard to get to where I am. It's a lot of long hours. It's a lot of times of being a guy at the station that's has to do a lot of the grunt work, a lot of the work behind the scenes, a lot of editing before you actually get to be on TV. So I had to put a lot of work in and go to different TV stations here in Cincinnati. I went to a TV station in Indiana and then came back to Cincinnati. So it's a lot of going to different cities, different jobs before you land to where you want to be. But I think no matter who you talk to, no matter what that person's job is, and no matter what it is you choose to do with your life when you're older, I think two important things. You have to understand you're going to do this job every day for about 30 or 40 years when you're an adult. You better find something that you think is a lot of fun and excites you every single day. So that's why I went into what I went into. I thought that when I was 75 years old or 80 years old and I'm sitting in my rocking chair looking back at my life, I want to say I went for it. I want to say I followed my dream. And I'm proud of the fact that I have, and I'm proud of the fact that I am living out my dream of being on TV here in Cincinnati talking about sports. The other thing is, number two, there is no substitute for hard work, no matter what the job is. No matter if it's playing sports or talking about sports, people who outwork the competition get to where they want to be. So you have to love what you do. You have to work as hard as anyone or harder than anyone else doing what you're doing. You combine those two things, love what you do, work hard at it, you'll be successful. And always be a good person. Always be a good coworker. Always be a friend to people that you work with, because those people will then help you get to where you want to be. Love what you do, work hard, be a good person. It all sounds so simple, but when you combine those three things, you'll love what you do and you'll be a success at what you do. Again, thanks for having me, Sherman Elementary. Pretty cool, huh? To sit in a TV studio where all the news anchors talk about the news on a nightly basis. Microphones, earpieces, lights, cameras. My job is a lot of fun, and I'm very lucky to do what I do, and I understand that. That's why I work hard every single day to make sure I keep my job and to make sure I get to continue doing what I love. Thanks for listening, and good luck with the rest of everything you do in elementary school, into high school, then into college, and your career. You'll do great.